Now, it is the 15th of October, and today marks 4 years since Southend West MP Sir David Amess was tragically murdered at his constituency surgery.
Sir David has served as an MP for 40 years, known for his dedication to his community, and his family, colleagues and constituents continue to remember his life and his legacy.
Well, we're joined now by his daughter, Katie Amess, and thank you so much for joining us this morning, Katie, on what must be such a painful anniversary for you.
Yes, just even hearing you speak about it, it's still so shocking to me, and it's so hard to come to terms with and believe that this is actually really what happened and that this is our reality now.
What is the reality for you and your family now, 4 years on, Katie?
We are just absolutely broken. Our lives are destroyed. I feel like I can never be fully happy again, knowing that this happened to my dad in such a shocking and horrific way. And 4 years on, we still don't have any answers as to why somebody that was known to the government prevent scheme and to the police was allowed to go back onto the street to commit this atrocity. I've been asking the government for an inquiry to find out why they only had one meeting with the guy and they didn't have the other 7 that were budgeted to find out if he was a terrorist. And so far it's fallen on deaf ears, and Sir Keir is refusing to do an inquiry for us.
Yeah, and it was one meeting in a McDonald's, I hear, over a coffee. I mean, what does this say about prevent scheme? We were talking about the migrant scheme in general there, the one in, one out deal with France. And I think, you know, a lot of politicians, they just talk rubbish. They talk a good game, but it doesn't add up to anything. And does it seem that the prevent scheme is one of those things?
Well, prevent is absolutely rubbish, and they claim that after it happened to my dad, they overhauled it and they fixed it, but then Southport happened. And the government did the right thing with Southport. They immediately launched an inquiry, but there is something in my father's case that they do not want to see the light of day, and they are point blank refusing. And when I ask, well, how comes you've done the right thing by Southport? They have no answers for me. They just tell me that it's a different case and that I should be happy with a review that has been done. But that review didn't have the judicial power to question anybody. They just want me to go away and to shut up and to move on. But I'm not going to do that, because my dad was an amazing public servant. He was in the House of Commons for nearly 40 years, and he touched thousands of people's lives. And these are his colleagues and his alleged friends, and they don't want whatever it is that they know coming out. So my whole family is just in despair. If this is how little the government cares for the family of a murdered colleague, how little do they care for everybody else?
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month. The the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBNews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Katie, I remember this day so well because at the time I was the South East of England reporter for GB News. I'm from Essex. I'm from very close to where your father's constituency surgery was. And I went straight down there. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, what I was seeing, and speaking to people straight away after your father was so tragically murdered in that way. Everybody I spoke to spoke so highly of your father, even if they hadn't voted for him, even if their political views were totally opposite to him. They spoke so highly of him as a man who was a visible presence in Southend. He was always walking around, wasn't he? He was always chatting to dogs. He was always popping into shops and talking to the shopkeepers, speaking about you, speaking about his family. He was a proud family man as well. How have you reacted to the outpouring of love and all of these stories that you've heard about your father in the past 4 years? Because he was such a loved man.
He was so beloved and he transcended politics. It didn't matter what party you voted for. You couldn't help but like my dad, and he would help anybody, no matter what religion you were, what colour you were, what party you supported. He just wanted to help people. He didn't care about climbing. He was only ever a backbencher. He didn't care about becoming a minister or hobnobbing his way up the ladder like so many of the politicians do nowadays. He just wanted to help people. And it is the thousands of messages of support and the love. And I feel like people are sharing in my grief. And that is what is keeping me going, trying to get the answers as to why he was so badly let down and failed, because I received so many messages saying, please don't give up, because you are our hope to try and create some change in this country and find out, you know, where the flaws are and make sure that another innocent person doesn't lose their life.
Well, with that in mind, do you think that lessons have been learnt from your father's murder? I mean, how concerned are you now about politicians' safety? We saw yesterday, didn't we, a small boat migrant, an Afghan man, jailed for 5 years for threatening to kill Nigel Farage on TikTok. When you see this kind of rhetoric and people talking about threats to politicians, how does that make you feel?
Absolutely nothing has changed. And any terrorist that is planning an attack must be loving watching my situation, that I'm not even allowed an inquiry as to why the government scheme let them go, because we aren't reprimanding these people. We aren't overhauling the system. We aren't getting into the nuts and bolts of where we failed. We're just brushing it over, sweeping it under the carpet and trying to move on to the next story. So it's a huge failure, and we're not even being allowed any answers as to who made the mistakes and why they made them.
Well, meanwhile, your dad's murderer, Ali Harby, was found guilty after just 18 minutes of deliberation at the Old Bailey, and he got a whole life prison term in 2022. I don't really know what whole life means, what it's expected to mean, but is there any more that can be done with Ali Harby? Ali?
No, I mean, I don't even think about him. He is so pathetic and irrelevant. He wanted to be seen as a hero and be hailed as, you know, this great warrior, but he attacked an unarmed 69-year-old man in a church. That is a wimp. That is not a warrior. He should have just gone to Syria and fought in the war if he thought he was so strong and powerful. So he will just die in prison. And I am deeply religious like my father was, and I believe that God will figure out what's going to happen with him when he dies in prison. So I just focus on my dad and the love and the light and the positivity that he brought to this world. And I'm just so grateful to the thousands of people that have shown support and kindness and kind of held our hands. It's restored my hope in humanity, that people can be so kind and caring and loving.
Katie, a priest didn't get to hold your father's hand or give him the last rites in his constituency surgery. And I know that your father was a very religious man. He believed strongly in his Catholic faith. What was your reaction to that?
I think it's shameful. I think it's disgusting. And I don't know why that decision was made, but to not give a dying man an opportunity to have his last rites read to him when everybody knew how religious he was, I think is disgusting. And that law needs to be changed if it was a law that stopped the priest going in, because it's not comforting to me at all to know that he wasn't with a priest praying when he passed away.
Well, Katie, he would be very, very proud of you and what you are doing. And we can tell, talking to you, that you intend to keep on talking about your father, remembering your father, and making sure that something will be done about this, and his death hopefully won't be in vain. But thank you very much indeed for your time. Good luck with all that you're trying to achieve, and we're here for you if you want to speak again at any stage.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And
you're
we're very sorry for your troubles. Thank you very much.